Hey everybody, Paul Turner here from thediscipleproject.net, here with you today to talk about weird kids, because we all have them, right? We all have weird kids in our youth ministry, and sometimes we're very reluctant to engage sometimes because maybe we didn't grow up weird or we didn't grow up with certain things or the internet. Middle school kids are weird. They're weird. Even if they're normal, they're weird just because they're going through body things and growth things and hormonal things and all those kind of things. And I want to just point out a few things and maybe how we can maybe minister better to weird kids, right? And I air quote that because what is weird to us is normal to them, right? And you know what? They think what we like is weird, okay? So, I mean, look, they think that us liking 80s music that's really weird. Um, so, when we are talking about kids, I want to give you three ways that you can best minister maybe to kids who are in that weird zone in your group, right? The first way you would think might be the easiest, right? When that's to identify them, right? Who are the weird kids in my group? And the weird kids are kids who are, some are very outstandish, right? Some are based on, dressing for shock or attention. Some are kids who talk about stuff we just don't understand, things like that. And that's why normal kids, right? The normal kids fit into our comfort zone. And so in being able to identify, you'd say, well, that's the easy part, Paul, right? You just look for weird kids that don't look like us. But here's this. I would say you'd have to look at kids also who sit by themselves quite often or distance themselves or tend to maybe have their head down some, or who just don't engage with the students very well. These kids might be in that weird zone too because they simply don't feel like they connect with other students in your youth ministry. And I'll be honest with you too, there's kids too that, listen, the older you get in youth ministry, the more you are cautious maybe about engaging because you don't want to feel dumb, right? You don't want to feel like you don't know what's going on. And sometimes we're so hesitant to engage with those weird kids because we think, well, they're not going to care and they're going to think I'm stupid. And we tend to gravitate towards whatever our version of normal is. I grew up a weird kid, right? So, I'm thankful and grateful though. I mean, I'm the kid who wore black on red and white days and listened to heavy metal music and played Dungeons and Dragons. And I was just a weird kid. But the people who loved me anyway. My youth workers loved me no matter what, regardless of whatever I was into, which leads me to the second thing there. First of all, we have to identify, but don't always look at the outward appearance of those who may be weird. Maybe it's the little things, the small things, their fascination with guns or knives or hunting or things like that would be normal, but it's also just a little bit deeper than that. And as we kind of, engage with them, that's the second part, right? Not only do we need to identify them, but we need to break past our own comfort zones so we can engage with them. The first thing is, listen, we got to be genuinely curious about the students and their hobbies or their loves or their passions, to be genuinely curious about them. And we need to ask lots of questions, right? So tell me about this thing. Why do you like it so much, right? What is it about this? And what's your, if you just ask them questions like, what's your favorite episode? Listen, I have people talk to me all the time about cars or motorcycles or stuff that I'm just not into, but I always try to find interesting questions to ask to help engage so that I seem like, and I hope I am definitely curious and interested in what they're talking about because I want to know. That's just not my jam. That's just not my thing. And it's the same true for students. They just want to know that you care. Not that you have to love their culture or love what they're into, but that you're genuinely interested in them as a student, as a person, that they don't have to be like everybody else in your youth group, but you can engage with them at a level that they're going to be comfortable with and you're comfortable with, and you kind of go from there, but at least they know you care, right? That you're not afraid of them. The other thing I would say is this, is ask kids to show you their weirdness. Have them pull it up on their phone and say, what's your last video you watched? What's, that's, dangerous, but you know what, that's where these kids live, right? Show me the last video you watched. Show me what's on your phone. What are you listening to these days? Listen to it with them. I'm not saying you have to enjoy it. I'm just saying just as a point of curiosity so that, students will feel comfortable talking to you about those things because they're feeling weird, you're feeling weird. And at some point that's got to get broken down through good questions or through genuine care and love and all those kind of things. And sometimes maybe we ought to just do the weirdness with them, right? Say, what do you like to do? You like to play video games? Great. You may not like to play video games, but sit down and play video games with that kid and let them teach you how to play, whether it's Overwatch or whatever it may be. First of all, identify. Once again, it would seem obvious outwardly, right? But sometimes we got to look for the little signs in between those that maybe this kid might not be connecting fully with other students and things like that. The second thing is engage with them, right? Do some of these things with them so you can get into their world. And the third thing, which leads us to this, is the ability to minister to them. And sometimes we get that flip. Sometimes the first thing we want to do is minister to them. And I'm saying, yes, okay, yes, we want to minister to them. We want them to know Christ. We want them to know Jesus. We want them to have a full relationship with God. But first it comes with engagement. First it comes with that, because without that, it's going to be super hard. So that's why so many of us have that resistance with students sometimes, the weird kids, because we've not engaged with them. We simply want them to do what we're asking them to do or modify their behavior so it makes us more comfortable. So think of it this way: in ministry, real relationships are not a means to an end, right? It's not a means to a conversion. It's a way for, listen, we don't treat any other relationship that way. We don't treat our relationship with our marriage. We don't love our wives so we can change them. We don't love our jobs or our bosses or coworkers so we can change them. We either are genuine or and authentic, or we're not, or we're phonies. And we have to let God do the work, right, in the lives of these students. Otherwise, we're not being very authentic. We're manipulating, or we're controlling, or those things. And we have to show genuine relationships are not a means to an end. We want kids to know Christ, but we want them to see Christ in us, right? The second thing is, listen, not everything weird is sinful. Listen, I understand we're not supposed to be of this world. I understand all of that. But this kid is 14 or 15 years old. They don't understand all of that. But the only way we can impart that knowledge to them is if we're not constantly berating all the things that they're into, because that's automatic turnoff. I'm not saying, like I said, that we have to agree with them. I'm not saying, but the only way we get to that conversation, into the ministry aspect of that, is to identify and engage. We have to be able to engage with them and have conversations with them. I always, once again, ask the big questions, right? Why? Why are you into this? Why do you like these things so much? What is it? What is it about this that you're into? Why are you into all these horror movies? Why? What is it about these things that cranks your boat here, man? What is it about this? And as we do this, why does this appeal to you? And when we do that, we're peeling away the onions. We're peeling away those things just to find out, just to be genuinely curious, so that we can find a point where we can pray for kids or minister to these kids. We have to let a kid know that he or she is genuinely loved. Okay? That is real ministry. There's no trade off. It's not like, hey, I'm going to love you and then I need you to come to youth group, or I'm going to love you and I need you to change this. Love says, I love you whether you change or not. That's what God does with us. He says, I'm going to love you no matter what, right? So we have to display that to other students. We have to be able to share that with them. Otherwise, they think it's a scam. They think it's this trade-off we're having with them. Like, I'm only going to love you if you change. It's not true. We just can't do that. It's not going to produce any fruit if we do it that way. Listen, if you're not weird, by the way, recruit a weird volunteer. Maybe you need somebody in your church or your congregation that maybe favors some of these things, or does a better job of engaging with students like this, or they feel like maybe they're into some of the things, whether it's video games or these, whatever it may be. Maybe you need to recruit somebody. Maybe you're not the person to do this, but by all means, don't leave that kid just because we're uncomfortable, right? Don't leave that kid to his own devices. Find another student, find a volunteer, find a parent, find somebody who can engage with them, right? By the way, it also may be the fact that you're the weirdo. And it may be true that you have all normal kids, right? You may have all these kids that seem to have it all together, and there's sports and cheerleading and all that, and maybe you're the weirdo. Well, you know what? You're still going to have to minister to the normal kids. You're going to have to reach out to them and find out what their jam is, find out what they're into, right? Because you have to do the same thing. The bottom line is, I read an article the other day by Jonathan McKee talking about connecting with students. And he lists, and every list of everything he said in there is that every time he had a face-to-face sit down with them, it made all the difference in the world. And having a face to face with them and saying, listen, I just want to talk. I want to talk about what you're into, what you like, and maybe just let me just share some of my cautions with you, or maybe you don't understand quite maybe what the Bible says about such things. Whatever that is, but face to face is going to make all the difference in the world. We can't text that. We can't social that. We can't do all these things. It's got to be the face to face, even if it makes you uncomfortable. So listen, the more we resist or avoid or try to forget that weird kids are in our group, the more weird they're going to become to us and the more weird we're going to become to them, which only separates them further maybe from the gospel, from seeing the reality in our lives, no matter what age you are, what gender you are, whatever that is. It's not about that. It's about care and it's about love. And you can be 50-year-old me and love kids and still get kids to be engaged that way. It's not about age. It's about care and it's about genuine love and it's about a genuine desire to connect with them. And that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys being a part of the video today. And if you're brand spanking new to this video and to me, and you're interested in being a part of this community, I hope you do. By the way, be sure at the end of this video to click on my head somewhere over here, and you can subscribe and get updates about what I'm posting. Also, if you happen to be a regular, maybe you've seen me before, be sure to leave your comments down below. I would love to hear, were you the weird kid? Are you the weird kid, the weird youth pastor that's trying to kick with other people? Or maybe you're uncomfortable about dealing with the weird kids that don't fit into your scope of in your comfort zone, right? But let me know, what are your difficulties? What are your challenges? What is your advice to other youth workers? Leave me some comments down below. But that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. So go out and reach some middle school students, love on those weird kids, and I'll tell you what, you will see the fruit of that, and God will bless you for it. So guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.